Tonight on the Black Channel, the hot girl summer politicians are about to enter the winter of their discontent. Get ready for your wake-up call. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program, as you all know, it is a long-standing edict here that we've warned you all that when white supremacy picks up a tool, it already knows how it's going to break it, how it's going to destroy it there. And the case of Fani Willis is yet another reminder of that. Now, there are some people who are operating in denial. You always have that kind of thing going on there. Unfortunately, reality is not playing along nicely with their desire to live in disbelief. Fani Willis is in the process of attempting to sue her. Everybody co-ops, and every time you turn around, she's trying to throw a RICO charge on somebody. But then it kind of comes out why it seems that all these folks who are endorsing her were doing so. Kind of seems interesting why they were doing that now in the middle of her biggest case. One of Donald Trump's associates who she's trying to put in jail or otherwise harass, his attorneys have done some digging. And what they found was that one of the DAs that she appointed there, that it appears that she is involved in a romantic relationship with him. It appears that way, and primarily because she's been subpoenaed to testify in this man's divorce case. Now, that's him you see on the screen walking behind her there. So, I guess she found love on the job, never mind the fact that the man was married. Now, the documents for the divorce apparently are now under seal, although there are reports that his name is Roman, that's Trump's associate. His lawyers are the ones who found it, not Trump's lawyers, but this guy named Roman. He was an operative. And his lawyers came across this information that was going on. What I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and read for you here from the CNN article on this. I'm going to read to you from that. Lead prosecutor in Georgia election subversion case under scrutiny over alleged affair with DA. When Nathan Wade was appointed lead prosecutor in the Georgia election interference case in 2021 to prosecute former President Donald Trump, some of his closest allies, lawyers in Cobb County where Wade practiced law, universally wondered, why him? Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis had the largest staff of any judicial circuit in Georgia, including salaried lawyers with more experience as felony prosecutors. Wade had once been a prosecutor briefly, but mostly handled misdemeanors and never such a high-profile case. More than 2 years later, questions are surfacing about Wade's role. One of Trump's co-defendants, facing criminal charges over efforts to overturn the 2020 election, has alleged in court papers that Wade is romantically involved with Willis and used money that he billed the district attorney's office for his work on the case to take her on lavish vacations. So you see, the accusations that they're making there is that she brought him onto the case so he can get paid exorbitant amounts, and that he turned around using the money and getting her flued out and everything else there. So the plot thickens. While the filing didn't include direct evidence of their romantic involvement, Willis was served this week with a subpoena to appear to deposition in Wade's divorce proceedings. Now, I'm very glad they said that, because a lot of these other news outlets, they're using very tricky and deceptive language and talking about, well, they made these filings with no evidence. And that's not really accurate. That's really not accurate. So they're trying to craft the narrative, and then when the truth comes out, then they'll all go ahead and get quiet, and they'll Either they won't issue a retraction, or if they do, they'll just try to issue it quietly. So that's what you have going on now. Pallavi Bailey, a spokesperson for Willis, told CNN that the office will respond to the allegations, quote, through appropriate court filings. Wade has not responded to CNN's request for comment and was smiling as he walked into a scheduled Friday afternoon motion hearing regarding multiple matters related to the case. The situation has created a political firestorm for Willis, with Trump and his co-defendants arguing Wade, Willis, and the entire district attorney's office should be taken off the case. The allegations, if true, may not derail the prosecution, but multiple lawyers tell CNN that the appearance of a conflict of interest could hurt Willis's chance of securing a conviction before a jury. The judge overseeing the case said on Friday that he planned to hold a hearing on the allegations in early February. Former DeKalb County District Attorney Robert James does not question Wade's qualifications, but does have concerns with Willis's decision to bring him onto the case if the allegations of an improper relationship hold up. Quote, "If I had a personal relationship, I probably would not have done it," James said in an interview with CNN. "Not because there's anything inappropriate about it." Dude, seriously? Only because people will take it, twist it, and make it look like there's something inappropriate going on. "It's just politically, it's not something that I think is wise," James said. Michael Moore, a former U.S. attorney in Georgia and a CNN legal analyst, said Willis should consider stepping away from the case given its high-profile nature. Quote, "I'd tell her to get out of the case. I really think in this type of case with these allegations, this case is bigger than any one prosecutor," Moore told CNN. "And I think probably to preserve the case, to show what's most important to her is the facts of the Trump case as opposed to her political career, if you will, at this moment." So she is finding out here that, by the way, you get halfway down the stretch here, and next thing you know, if there's any dirt around there at all, if there's any appearance of impropriety, next thing you know, everybody is all over it there. Now, here's the real issue. The issue isn't whether or not she did this. The issue is whether or not she was the type of person who would do this. That's the real issue. Whether or not she is the type of person who would do it. You got to understand, when it comes to politics, when it comes to black politicians in particular here, they love grabbing somebody who is a relentless skirt chaser or is a shameless panhandler. Somebody who either can't control their sexual urges or can't control their financial avarice. They love finding that. They love finding people with deep-seated character flaws. And in the case of Fani Willis, you got somebody with a big head and outrageous ego, and these folks knew at any time we want to take her down, we can. At any time we want to knock her off, we can. She doesn't have anything to protect her, so that's the kind of individual that they're going to push and promote. Same thing with Stacey Abrams. At any time they want to knock her off, if they wanted to, they could do so. Andrew Gillum. Folks, do you all see the pattern forming here? At any time that they wanted to go after Andrew Gillum, they could. They knew the whole time that they knew all the dirt on him. They knew what they were doing. Please, with how wild and reckless he was, everybody knew what he was up to. Everybody knew what his thing was. Everyone. Not accidental when that kind of thing occurs. They know what they're doing. They know who they're picking. And they're choosing them specifically because they know they're going to knock them off later. Or if they ever get out of line for any reason, they're going to come and knock them off. That any random white person can make any type of accusation, and that will be enough to get rid of you. Just that quickly. Doesn't matter what your position is or anything else. Any random individual will be able to jump up, and that's going to be the end of you. Just that quickly. Just that quickly. Now, when those kind of things occur, that's not accidental. When those kind of things happen, that's not accidental. When they do that on purpose. And when we warn you that, by the way, when you're being brought to them by a whole bunch of folks that nobody knows and nobody recognizes, that's for a reason. They know what they're doing there. That's for a reason. That's for a reason. Now, in Fani Willis's case, she was very, very certain that she had connections or anything else, and they were going to take care of her. She was very certain that was happening because that's what they feed you when they take you in those back rooms and tell you those things. That's what they assure you of. Oh, don't worry, we got your back. We got your back over that. Don't worry, we got you here. And then you find out you don't. You don't control this. There's the other case here that they have going on here, for if you want some of the details about that. Fani Willis has been subpoenaed to testify in the divorce of alleged romantic partner. Now, they say alleged romantic partner. Why is she being subpoenaed to testify then? The Daily Beast, coming from the Wall Street Journal, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis was subpoenaed this week to testify in the divorce case of a colleague with whom she was recently alleged to have an improper relationship during their prosecution of Donald Trump, according to reports. In a legal filing seen by the Wall Street Journal, a process server said he left the subpoena with Willis's executive assistant on Monday with the summons requesting Willis's testimony in the divorce proceedings of Nathan Wade, an attorney hired by Willis as a special prosecutor in Trump's Georgia election interference case, from his wife, Jocelyn Wade. I hate when they make sentences like this because that's a very tortured sentence to have there. Very tortured sentence. In a legal filing seen by the Wall Street Journal, a process server said he left the subpoena with Willis's executive assistant on Monday with the summons requesting Willis's testimony in the divorce proceedings of Nathan Wade from his wife, Jocelyn Wade. So Nathan Wade's wife has subpoenaed Fani Willis to testify in her divorce proceedings against Fani Willis's boyfriend, Nathan Wade. So Nathan Wade's wife, soon to be ex-wife here, she has subpoenaed Fani Willis. So what you're looking at right now is a very real possibility you're going to have Fani Willis under oath having to admit that she was committing adultery with this man. That you have to understand, these folks they know full well, people, there isn't a psychological exam that goes along with becoming a lawyer. You can have the most big-headed, narcissistic, egotistical, arrogant, bloated, egoed individual you can imagine, and if they can win public office, there they are, with all of their warts and flaws and vulnerabilities right there. And they will tell themselves that they're above the law and that they're really just that smart and they're really just that great, with all of their character flaws on display. And that's literally what you'll be looking at. Literally. It says here that the subpoena was served several hours before a lawyer for Mike Roman, one of the former president's co-defendants in the Georgia case, filed a separate motion alleging that Willis and Nathan Wade had a, quote, improper clandestine personal relationship during the pendency of this case. The motion also accused both Willis and Wade of, quote, profiting significantly from the prosecution at the expense of the taxpayers. A Willis spokesperson said the prosecution plans to respond to allegations in its own court filings. Yeah, but you notice they ain't saying nothing right now. And they're not saying anything here. By the way, you notice they didn't say it's not true. There's your first clue that there's a problem. They didn't say it's untrue. If you all understand that that's a problem, when you have a court case and somebody is talking about they're going to respond, but they didn't say it wasn't true. If you understand that that's a problem, give me the thumbs up emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 3,000 people in here live in just the first 13 minutes. And if you all agree with what you're hearing here on tonight's program, give me the thumbs up emoji and hit the likes button for me. Whether it is Keisha Bottom B, whether it is London Breed, whether it is any of all the others that they have out there and whatnot, they will sell you on this idea that, oh, you go, girl, sister queen, we got your back. And they will go ahead and gas your head up with that, knowing full well that at any time, if you get out of line, you are just the designated sacrificial lamb is what they've chosen. You're just the designated sacrifice. And you're sitting up here telling yourself that you're all in good with them and everything is great and that they love you so much. That's the biggest lie that Negroes fall for. Oh, they love me over there. They love me. They think I was great. And then they find out just how much greatness you don't have. Then you find that out. And that's a very good point to remember here now, because Fani Willis was sitting there the whole time thinking that, well, don't worry, I'm going to grab Young Thug and I'm going to convince the dominant society that I'm with them. I'm going to convince them that I'm with them. And in the process of doing that, she was probably telling herself, well, don't worry, I can do whatever. Why, after all, what I'm doing isn't technically illegal. It isn't technically illegal, right? And then you show up and find out exactly what it is. And Fani Willis's case is dragging on here now, so what the next month is going to bring to us, I have a feeling we're going to see more revelations, because now as you start digging, I wonder how much more you're going to find. If this is one thing she's done, by the way, if you start digging further, do you all think that this is the only infraction she has? Do you think this is the only place where she stepped over the line? I see some folks not liking the program here tonight, so apparently I have a lot of Fani Willis supporters in the chat room or watching the program live right now, so I understand that. If they don't like it, we'll just go ahead and wrap things up. But by the way, I just thought I would point out that the hot girl summer politicians, they love dancing and jerking their necks and buying their suits and preening for the cameras and whatnot. And meanwhile, this is what's right below the surface. I say right below the surface because in reality, they chose you because they knew that you were not very disciplined. They knew what they were going to be doing the whole time, and they knew you were not very disciplined. We'd love to tell you that Fani Willis was the only one, but she is not. Coming on down here to my state of Louisiana, LaToya Cantrell, a woman who shouldn't be the mayor of a can of sardines. And yet, there she is in New Orleans. But you know, they've been slow roasting her. They go looking for narcissistic, arrogant, bloated ego individuals. And sure enough, this ego-driven chick is sitting up here doing all this talking and whatnot. Now, oh man, they've gone a whole lot bigger here, folks. They've been investigating her for the past couple of years, actually. This story is actually a couple of years old if you go Google it and look over it. But what is new is the feds being involved. Oh yeah, you got that right. Now the feds are involved. The feds are looking into it. And lo and behold, you're finding yourself in a bad position there. Finding themselves in a bad position because the feds are like, by the way, we'd like to take a look into this case for you here. So this is coming out of New Orleans. And I want you to all to hear how they start this story off. Listen to the way that they start this story off now. They're covering themselves coming in the front door.
The federal investigation into New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. As sources tell Fox 8, the FBI wants to know more about the time Cantrell spent with a member of her security detail.
And a crime watchdog says their questions closely mirror a case in Tennessee that resulted in charges being brought against a sitting mayor there. Here's our new Outside the Office investigation.
It was completely designed to humiliate me and to politically embarrass me.
6 years ago, the mayor of Nashville at first denied having an affair with her security detail.
Was he getting paid while you were having relations with him?
No.
Then Mayor Megan Barry took her bodyguard on taxpayer-funded trips out of town, while the two carried on a secret affair.
Do you think there was anything, though, that was inappropriate in terms of, did he really need to be there? Did he really need to be with you while you're going to a concert or something like that?
When I'm out, I'm working all the time. And so I let the police department make the decisions about how I should be staffed.
In 2018, Barry and her bodyguard pleaded guilty to state charges of felony theft. Tennessee investigators looked at the 10 city-funded trips Barry took with her bodyguard and the tens of thousands of dollars in overtime the bodyguard collected while claiming to protect the mayor. The charges centered around an affair while taxpayers paid the bodyguard.
The mirror images of what happened in Nashville and what we see playing out here.
And now sources with knowledge of the ongoing investigation into New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell say
I gotta say,
while taxpayers paid the bodyguard.
The mirror images of what happened in Nashville and what we see playing out here.
And now sources with knowledge of the ongoing...
LaToya, could you try a little bit less to look like Ving Rhames? Could you try just a little bit more to not look like Hacksaw Butch Reed. LaToya, come on now. She looked like she's scowling for a NWA album. So will somebody get a hold of this woman and tell her, hey, ease off the mean mugging. There's cameras everywhere on you. There are cameras everywhere on you. What are you doing? Just everything is mean mugging at people. What kind of campaign you trying to run? Well, I want you all to see some similarities here. I want you all to see some similarities and things like that because I want you to see some of the stuff that was going on here, and it's going to look familiar to some other things we've seen.
The mirror images of what happened in Nashville and what we see playing out here.
And now sources with knowledge of the ongoing investigation into New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell say federal investigators are asking similar questions here about the mayor and her bodyguard, NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy.
Now that's the police officer right there, Jeffrey Vappy.
Now sources with knowledge of...
By the way, and why is he walking behind her, biting his lip with, with the, I'm handling that, look. I'm like, these people here, it's just, sometimes New Orleans gets into a competition with Chicago over which one can be more overtly corrupt. Just which one can be more overtly in your face corrupt. And that's what they could do a whole lot more to make themselves look less guilty.
The ongoing investigation into New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell say federal investigators are asking similar questions here about the mayor.
This is what I'm talking about. Brother, what are you doing? What are you doing? He knows they're under investigation. He knows that they're looking at him and the mayor, and yet... What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
The ongoing investigation into New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell say federal investigators are asking similar questions here about the mayor and her bodyguard, NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy. While the charges would be different from the Nashville case, federal versus state, sources say the concept of both investigations appear to be the same.
Oh, the similarities are that you're talking about a police officer that was part of an executive protection team for the mayor of Nashville, was billing the city for work that he was not actually performing. So if he was not protecting the mayor, was engaged in a personal relationship, that essentially would have been the basis of the state charges that resulted in him being charged and the mayor of Nashville being charged and ultimately resigning. This would just be taking the same principles to the federal side of the ledger.
Now, y'all, I want you to take a look here. What you're looking at is surveillance footage. Not for Osama bin Laden. Not for Hamas. Not for the white supremacist gangs around America. No. If this sounds like DC and Marion Barry to you, by the way, this is the FBI. No, we don't have time to investigate the white supremacists infiltrating law enforcement and the military and everything else. We don't have time for that. Our resources are too busy being spent over here.
Taking the same principles to the federal side of the ledger.
Sources with knowledge of interviews federal investigators conducted say FBI agents have recently been asking questions about Vappy and Cantrell, their relationship, and the time the two have spent together. Mayor Cantrell has repeatedly denied a relationship with Vappy.
As I've stated, based on the false allegations that come my way, by the time I finish this job, literally, accused of sleeping with half of the city of New Orleans, both genders and all pronouns. I'm known as Teddy sometimes and then Teddy other times. So with that, false allegations do not, that's basically all I have to say about it.
Our outside the office investigation found Vappy spending long hours inside the city-owned Upper Pentaba apartment, sometimes leaving late at night alone, not protecting the mayor when she left after midnight. Vappy's wife filed for divorce.
Folks,
not protecting
1:25 in the morning.
Long hours inside the city.
Okay, just after midnight is it?
Upper Pentaba apartment,
1:25 in the morning.
Leaving late at night alone, not protecting.
I mean, they creeping in New Orleans early in the morning. Early in the morning. What he say? I guess he's done bodyguarding her. He's leaving and she can bodyguard herself from here on in at 1:25 in the morning. Did they even know the FBI is sitting up there across the street looking? The FBI is right across the street looking, and this what y'all doing at 1 in the morning.
The mayor when she left after midnight. Vappy's wife filed for divorce, claiming in court records Vappy admitted the affair, something Vappy and Cantrell both say is untrue.
In fact, Mr. Jeffrey Vappy confirmed to your petitioner that he was involved in an adulterous affair with Mrs. L.C., Mrs. LaToya Cantrell. Really?
Court records, Vappy admitted.
Based upon information and belief, Mrs. L.C., LaToya Cantrell, and Mr. Jeffrey Vappy. By the way, do you see this? But not limited to consisting, but I guess that's consisting or considering or but not limited to August 1st, 2nd, 9th, 2022, and September 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2022. August 1st, 2nd, and 9th.
Long hours inside the city.
Yeah. August 1st, 2nd, and 9th, 2022. And I guess the FBI is letting them know, by the way, the 9th, well, that would have been that they went into the building before midnight. So if they went into that building before midnight, that would have been August 9th. So his wife is referring to this particular incident.
Divorce,
there.
claiming in court records Vappy admitted the affair.
So his wife, folks, they got the FBI looking at you. And then September 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. That's it. When you got this many dates running together, oh, he just got a whole nother broad. It's just, oh, he's gone for whole weeks. He's gone for, you are sharing your man. That is what's going on. He's gone for weeks. He's just gone. It's just half the month he over there, the other half the month he come through and check you. That's it. No, this ain't even sneaky links. They ain't even being sneaky. Bruh's
leaving late at night.
Bro walking out the place like he just left Circle K.
Inside the city-owned Upper Pantano.
He didn't even try to leave with her. He came in with her. He ain't even trying to leave with her. By the way, some damn police officers y'all are. You got cameras across the street from you. Literally across the street from you. You have to assume there's cameras in the area, especially if this is an apartment owned by the city. You have to assume there's cameras watching y'all. Some damn police officers they are. They didn't even have enough sense to leave together. They supposed to understand how law enforcement techniques and law enforcement investigation works, and they didn't even have enough damn sense to leave together. You deserve to get caught at this point.
Taba apartment, sometimes leaving late at night alone, not protecting the mayor when she left after midnight. Vappy's wife filed for divorce, claiming in court records Vappy admitted the affair, something Vappy and Cantrell. Divorce, claiming in court records Vappy admitted the.
Based upon information and belief, Ms. LaToya Cantrell and Mr. Jeffrey Vappy continue to have an ongoing relationship. In fact, Mr. Jeffrey Vappy confirmed to your petitioner that he was involved in an adulterous affair with Miss L.C. Folks, is it this hard being a female politician that you got to take chances like this? Really? Is it this bad? Is it this difficult? Apparently it is.
The affair, something Vappy and Cantrell both say is untrue.
As it relates to my professional relationship with Officer Vappy, that's where it is. It's strictly professional.
In months' worth of public security camera video obtained by Fox 8, Vappy is the only officer to ever enter the Upper Pantaba apartment. Other members of the mayor's executive protection team, in interviews with police investigators, even called the relationship troubling.
So do you feel like his actions embarrassed the unit?
I would say so, yeah.
You feel like he crossed that line of professionalism with his protection duties?
The way it looks, yeah. Look bad.
And you talked to him about that?
Yeah.
All right. Did you talk to any of the NOPD guys about that?
I think we talked as a whole. Yeah, as a whole.
What do you mean when you say as a whole?
Well, because they noticed it. They witnessed it.
And when you say they, give me some names.
Robert and Lewis.
Okay.
Robert and Lewis. So they all noticed it. So, we were like, what is this dude doing,
The head of the Metropolitan Crime Commission.
What is he doing? What does it look like he doing? He trying to get that chief's job. That's what he doing. What is he doing? He trying to leapfrog y'all for a promotion. That's what he trying to do. He's doing it the New Orleans way. He's trying to get that New Orleans promotion. Like, yeah, the rest of y'all sit over there and work them hours and get shot at and everything else. Let me put my hands on the mayor and see if I can finesse and massage my way to this promotion. Let me see if I can do that one. That's where he's at. What is this dude doing,
The head of the Metropolitan Crime Commission says to pursue a case like this, the federal government must have more than circumstantial proof.
I don't believe the government will charge the mayor or Officer Vappy strictly on circumstantial evidence. I think that they would have a higher standard than that. And I think that if they do charge them with that, it's because they believe they have sufficient evidence to meet the burden of proof to prove them guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Goyeneche says he believes this is just one piece of the federal investigation, that FBI agents and the U.S. attorney are looking at other potential corruption with the mayor. One source told us recently investigators asked whether the mayor or Vappy received anything of value from parties who are regulated by or do business with the city. Our prior investigations detailed the FBI is also looking into clothing purchases made for Cantrell by our image consultant. And last year, both Cantrell and Vappy hired well-known criminal defense attorneys. Goyeneche believes the by our image consultant. And last year, both Cantrell and Vappy hired well-known criminal defense attorneys.
One of them looked like Harrison Ford. The other one looks like either Doc Brown from Back to the Future or damn me Saruman from Lord of the Rings. Tom Mazzaro and F. Lee Bailey. They are not, so they better be damn good. This fella looked like Groucho Marx without the mustache here. So, yeah, then nothing about this screams guilty.
Goyeneche believes the pace of this investigation shows it might be coming to an end soon, in the next few months.
We'll find out sooner rather than later because this investigation is either going to result in an indictment in the near future or it's just going to dry up and blow away. And I think that because this has reached the point that it has, where grand juries have been convened and evidence has been assembled.
We want to note that right now Cantrell and Vappy.
Oh boy, one more thing. Them earrings, y'all.
Has reached
Where did she get those earrings? I mean, boy, I'm telling them earrings look like a hubcap hanging off her ears. What is going on? Do you see how heavy those earrings are pulling on her earlobes? Oh, do you see they're dangling like bowling balls. Where did she get those? She is the hard knock life, and I don't even think she's originally from Louisiana. I thought I read that she wasn't originally from Louisiana, but boy, I'm telling you, if she's from New Orleans, if her people are from New Orleans, they from the hard side of New Orleans, boy. It's just, that is it. That lipstick looked like on the bumper of a '78 Corvette. So, from Fani Willis to LaToya Cantrell, boy, they stacking them up. They're stacking them up and lining them up, and it's like, boy, they've been, understand all this stuff, they've been doing this for years. They've been watching them for years. They've been watching these folk for years. Everything they're talking about now, it's like, oh, they knew this years ago. People, the FBI don't show up looking at a mayor because they're bored. The FBI has shown up because they already got everything they need. You all know the Fed's conviction rate. The conviction rate from the Feds, especially when they go after politicians in Louisiana. You know the conviction rate of the Feds. They ain't no joke. That's not a joke at all. If the Feds show up at your place in Louisiana, this is, don't even say nothing. They already got most of what they need. They just want to know, is you going to make it easy or is you going to make it real easy? So LaToya Cantrell is getting her wake-up call. Fani Willis is getting hers. All these folks here who thought they were hot girls summering it and everything and dancing around and juke jointing it up and, oh, we ain't got to worry about anything. It's like, okay. Just all at once they coming for you. As soon as you popped up here in 2024, it's like, oh, they gonna make it rain. They're gonna make it rain. By the way, do you see any of their white political allies saying anything to help them? Did you notice what's missing there? You don't see them saying anything to help them. Kind of seems like they already knew. Kind of seems like it was part of the plan. Like it always is. How do you all think this is going to turn out? Do you all think this is going to turn out with Cantrell marching off into the sunset, or do you think they about to do her like Ray Nagin and all the others? Do you think they're going to give her the Ray Nagin treatment? Because you got to understand, just truth be told, they haven't really been able to beat her politically. Yeah, I was about to say, I thought she was from Los Angeles. I'm pretty sure folks were saying she came in from California. They couldn't beat her politically, so they're like, oh, don't worry, this is Louisiana. We got another way of getting you out of here. Oh, we voted back over here at the police station. So, yeah. Well, at least she got her hair did. So I'm very glad she at least took care of that. At least she got her hair did. So she was taking care of that business. Oh, but she's far from the only one here, folks. There's a number of people who are getting their wake-up calls about this. Far from the only one. So all the hot girl summers are running into the winter of discontent. And if you thought those two were the only ones, oh no, there are some others. And we're going to get into that here in just a few moments. But first, we're going to take a very brief non-commercial break. Before we do here, very brief announcement. YouTube is once again messing with the channel. So they disabled the monetization on this channel. They said something about me reusing content. So now they've suspended the monetization here. So they want me to submit a video explaining why it is that, I'm not using content or whatever. This is not an AI channel. They said this, my channel was reviewed manually. It couldn't have been reviewed manually because you can obviously tell that this is a political commentary YouTube channel, and it's obviously a person. It's not AI doing any of this. So they got that going on. So I want to send a big thanks to everyone who has contributed to support the program on PayPal or Venmo. My man, Mr. Richberg, as always, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that, brother. Also to my man, Mr. Baker, Andrew L., thank you very much for your support. Mark B. and Charlemagne and everyone else who's contributed to support the program, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We're going to take a very brief non-commercial break. When we come back, oh no, it's not just Fani Willis and LaToya Cantrell. It's deeper than that. And we'll be getting to that also. This is The Black Channel.
Hello, my name is Steve Burgess, and I'm the author of this book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-aged child. In this book, I've explained the role of the parent and the student in addition to what accommodations, procedures, rewards and consequences and expectations that need to be in place to ensure student success from primary to high school. This book is available on Amazon.com. For more information, please visit my link tree at Easy One-on-One, and to access my latest podcast, A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black first. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spiritOf1811publishing.com and show your love.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Natural Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. Somebody in the chat room who said that he's a bodyguard. He was guarding her whole body. He said he was guarding her whole body. Well, you can see him right there. Yeah, I'm guarding it, all right. And promotion secured. This was gonna be here. And the rest of y'all work out here in this hot sun. I'm not gonna do all that there. I'm doing better than that. So yeah, absolutely. We're right about that. Yeah, we got that. Yeah, buddy. Can a fella look less guilty? Yes, dude, you could look less guilty than this. Yeah, that's right. The rest of y'all get out here and do all that other stuff. Y'all guard the city. I'm just guarding one person here. I'm gonna make more progress guarding one than y'all gonna make guarding millions. I'm gonna be all right. All right. Well, into other news here as well. LaToya Cantrell, Fani Willis, they're not the only ones figuring out what's going on here. None other than Angela Rye. Angela Rye is very upset now. Boy, I'm telling you, all that New York radio money and all that wanted to be podcasting money. When we told you all years ago, these folks who couldn't make it on television, they gonna try to tiptoe their way over here to the internet and find out this space over here is a whole lot harder to get around and deal with than where you come from. You're not going to get any of the perks that you were accustomed to getting when you come from. And the truth of the matter is that all these people are really just looking for a cable television gig. Basically it. And if they can't get one, they're going to see, well, let's see if we can file a lawsuit or something. So Angela Rye says that Chris Cuomo called humiliated CNN staffer, quote, tinsel crotch. And she claims network axed her after confronting him. Interesting. Well, let's hear what she has to say.
It all began on New Year's Day when I posted a picture of myself looking forward to the new year in a gold sequin bikini on Instagram. Cuomo screenshot the image and said, "Happy New Year, tinsel crotch." Stunned, I read and reread the message a dozen times, trying to understand. If I somehow brought this on myself, since whatever you post on social is fair game, right?
Okay. This is the picture in question here, by the way. This is the picture in question. So, yeah. If you were wondering what picture she's referring to or, well, what did the picture look like? Well, this is the one in question. So, she was definitely trying not to be a Vegas showgirl or something else like that.
Teared up, like now, then the tears flowed. I felt like the safest place I had on a show on CNN had been compromised.
Boy, she started turning the tears on. You know what that's for, right? She started turning the tears on. You know what that's for, right? So I'm just wondering, is she trying to get her a Cassie P. Diddy lawsuit? Is she trying to pony up, or is she trying to get herself worked up for one of those? I'm just wondering. Is she trying to get herself in position for a Cassie case? I'm just wondering. Look, I'm not casting aspersions one way or the other. I'm not saying whether this happened or not. I don't know what the actual facts of the case are. I don't know. Chris's brother could sometimes be a little handsy. Was Chris taking liberties? I don't know. I don't have any information one way or the other. But I do find it kind of interesting there that all of a sudden she's, by the way, I thought they had my bag. Really? Because here's my thing is that you hear her tearing up and boo-hooing, right?
Right. I teared up, like now, then the tears flowed.
That's very interesting because, you know, when she talked to us over here in the new black media, she was the most hard-edged, hardcore, square-jaw broad you could imagine. So I find that very interesting. Now, when she's talking about Zaddy, all of a sudden she's light and feminine and, oh, I'm just so delicate. But when she was talking to us, she wasn't nothing but a straight-up bust down on us. She wasn't giving us any of this energy. I mean, she was a hardcore brawler when it came to us. So I just find that kind of interesting that be the case. I just find that kind of interesting. Just thought I would take a little bit of time to point that out. That's all. Just wanted to point it out for you here. Although there are other things happening in the news here as well. If we're going to be talking about politicians, if we're going to be talking about politicians acting in an uncivil manner here, I just thought that we would take a little bit of time to look around the country as well, because there's a lot you can learn out there. And I just decided, let's take a look at a few other places here. One of the places in particular I took a look at was Miami. And folks, let me tell you, after everything else we've seen here before, yeah, we need to take a trip down to Miami. I want you all to see what's going on down there in Miami right now, okay?
Politics in the city of Miami is ridiculous.
Well, I think it's unprofessional, first of all. But I think that what they should need to do is get in a ring and actually fight it out.
Constituents fed up and embarrassed after a disagreement at last night's Miami Commission meeting nearly turns into a brawl. That meeting coming to an abrupt end just moments after Joe Carollo and Miguel Gabela had to be separated from each other.
And the exchange bringing into question just how effective the commission actually is. CBS News Miami's Peter Dent joins us live from outside City Hall with all the reaction. Peter.
Well, Jim and Lauren, we spoke with Tomas Regalado, who was the city commissioner for 12 years and mayor of the city of Miami for 8 years. He says he was startled by what he saw and says these fights are very disturbing. A battle breaks out.
So, folks, let me tell you here, you hear about all these city councils and stuff. You don't have no black city councils doing this. You don't have this. That's not happening. So this is right down there in Miami. Big boom city going on right now. Billions of dollars of investment. And yeah, here we go with Jerry Springer. All right, now here are the details about why that happened.
They're very disturbing. A battle breaks out between Commissioners Joe Carollo and Miguel Gabela during a discussion about the future of the city attorney.
The A Street boys, those that Mr. Gabela.
Wait. No. You're wrong. And I'm going to put in.
Listen,
you are a liar. You are a liar. You are a liar. You are a liar.
You want to play Tony Soprano?
You are a liar.
Play it, but I'll play it right back to you.
You're a liar.
You're a small man.
Gabela gets out of his seat and has to be restrained as he approaches Carollo.
You can't have decorum with a guy.
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you what old boys say here. I'm done talking.
Gets out of his seat and has
Let's
to be...
get him up. Yeah, he said, "Hey, look here, fella. I'm through talking. Let's get him up. All that capping you doing over there." It's like, yeah, look here. I'm gonna show you who a liar is. You about to be lying out here in just a moment here. So, yeah, you want to do all that talking? Let's get him up. Here's my objection. Let's get him up, dude. Let's get him up.
As he approaches Carollo.
You can't have decorum with a guy that thinks he's a gangster.
The meeting ends abruptly, and the feed from inside the chamber is cut off. Moments before, Carollo had this to say.
And I'm not going anywhere. I can't be fired or bullied out.
The incident was a talk of the town at places like the Versailles restaurant.
Politics in the city of Miami is ridiculous.
Well, I think it's unprofessional, first of all. But I think that what they should need to do is get in a ring and actually fight it out.
My reaction was, here we go again. The city of Miami has been spinning out of control.
Former Miami Mayor Tomas Regalado criticizes Carollo.
He's provoking. He's, pinching, trying to provoke reactions, and then he paints himself as the victim.
Regalado says such squabbles can take a toll on the city.
Those scandals are being watched closely by the bond ratings agency in New York. They watch all the commission meetings, and I'm sure that they were shocked to see what they saw yesterday.
Now, did you all hear that? Now, I found that to be a very interesting tidbit thrown in there. You hear what the former mayor of Miami here had to say. Did you hear that? He said that these kinds of things are watched by the bond rating agencies up in New York. That they watch these city council meetings. They watch these commissioner meetings. They watch these kinds of things. Well, folks, do you think that's just Miami? Miami, Atlanta, D.C., Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, Houston. So what they're saying is that, I want you all to understand what he's saying there, is that the politics of the city are influenced by big business interests. That has far-reaching ramifications right there. That how you look and how things go, yeah, you could be messing up the money all over the place. Now, I think they're going to explain here exactly why that commissioner is so out of control and everything there, and why folks don't like him very much.
That could affect the credit of the city of Miami and the bonds issues.
Now, we were not able to make contact with Commissioner Joe Carollo, but I just spoke moments ago with Commissioner Gabela. He told me that he reacted in the way he did because he resented being called a gangster. He said he is not a gangster. We are live at Miami City Hall. Peter Dench, CBS News.
Well, I'm glad to hear that's not the case. Okay, assuming I didn't miss that or whatever. I think what happened before here, this guy here, he got sued federally. He didn't like what some folks had done locally. So he's been sued for he's been found guilty. The feds are seizing his assets because, of a federal case. He violated some people's civil rights and whatnot. It's the thing about he didn't like they were supporting another candidate. It was a business. There was a business in town that was supporting another candidate, and he did something that violated their rights to the point that the Fed stepped in and they're seizing his assets and everything. So you got a whole bunch going on there. But just thought you all should know here that, by the way, if your city councils are boring, well, come on down to Miami, because the nightlife ain't the only thing jumping. The politics are too, as a matter of fact. So he's like, hey, I'm done talking here. Let me issue my objection face to face, fella. Let's do that. So what he should have done, should have handled it a little bit different. He should have handled it a little bit different, because what I'm saying is I don't believe you. What I'm saying is I'm not really sure I believe you. Because I'm like, if you about that life, it looks more like this. If you are really serious and about that business, then it looks more like this. You take a look on your screen right now. This is what it really looks like. It looks more like this. It'll look more like this. So if you really want me to take you seriously, it's like you moving too slow. You moving too slow. So if I see this happen, then I'm going to be like, okay, I think I believe you a little bit more. I think I believe you. I think I'll believe you a little bit more if you move a little bit faster. So when I see your feet leave the ground, I'll take it a little bit more seriously. Well, folks, welcome to the 21st century here. And a whole bunch of folks out there finding out the hot girl summer and all the congratulations you were getting there before. It's like, oh, don't worry, there's a subpoena out there waiting on you. We already know how we're going to end your political career before it even gets started. We already know what we're going to do, and we are hard at work. We are hard at work on you. And that's what it's going to be. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. And the number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Blackest Radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today, and as always, you are welcome to join us. I would like to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal or Venmo. Thank you very much. All the rest of those don't apply there anymore. So B1 Media is a lifesaver as always. Thank you for your support. Mr. Creighton, thank you for your support here as well. I appreciate that. And to everyone else here who supports tonight's program, this will be your opportunity to go ahead and weigh in here. This will be your opportunity to do that, because we are the Black media. And I just wanted to show you all, by the way, there's other things that are happening out there. There are other things that are happening. There are other things that are going on in that regard. So you got that available here as well. Also, one other thing I wanted to cover here, because I think I got that available also. I think I have that available also. So I didn't want to leave that, untouched here. Just a brief reminder to people, because I think it's necessary from time to time to just give them a brief reminder of exactly what it is we do and exactly how it is we got here. And sometimes folks may question the veracity of what we do, but I just remind you all that, by the way, just keep in mind, things don't happen in a vacuum. They really, really don't. And they don't happen by accident either. When I tell you that this is how these folks operate and this is what they do, just understand that we are the only people operating in Black people's best interests here, because we're the only ones who can. We're the only ones who do, because we're the only ones who can. Everybody else is looking to get bought off. And I'll put up a reminder here. This is a video that Roland put up last week. I'm just giving you all a reminder of who owns these people and what their agendas actually are. Roland put this up a week ago.
I'm going to talk slowly when I say this. The fundamental problem with the Democratic Party today is white media consultants refuse to listen to Black people, listen to Black consultants, listen to Black pollsters, refuse to put the resources in those places early, and then they expect Black people to come save their asses come mid to late October.
So yeah, Roland is working the same old stick right here. We want the white politicians and the white folk with the money. They need to come pay him.
media consultants refuse to listen to black people.
He talking about himself.
Listen to black consultants.
Oh, show talking about himself.
Listen to black posters.
Talking about himself.
Refuse to put the resources in those places early.
The resources, he talking about the money.
And then they expect black people to come save their asses come mid to late October.
So Roland is, I warned you all of this. I told you about this before. Roland is positioning himself to be able to explain why the Democrats are going to lose. And what he's already positioning himself to say is, well, you know, if you had given me money, you wouldn't have lost. I told y'all, dumbasses, if you had given me money, you wouldn't have lost. So before now, he was acting like it's a fait accompli. I've been the person telling you all, by the way, there are outrageously scary ramifications of these back-to-back losses the Democrats have in areas where clearly it is the black vote that is the reason they're losing those elections and losing those campaigns. It's the black vote, period. You bring the black vote in, they win in these areas. They're having back-to-back losses. And Roland can't move the needle, so all he's trying to do now is explain away, well, you know, when y'all do lose, just you didn't give me enough money. That's what happened. If you would give me more money, I could have saved you there, but you didn't. That's what he's talking about. If you had given us more money early. Did you catch that part? If you had given the money early.
Refuse to put the resources in those places early.
Yeah, if you had given me the money early. In other words, if you give me the money every year. Give me the money every year. Give it to me 2 years before the election, 4 years before the election. Just give me the money every year. If you had been giving me the money the whole time, why, y'all would be doing a whole lot better. If you had just gone ahead and done that. So in case anybody was wondering about this before, by the way, yeah, we keep on top of these things. And yes, it's exactly what I told you it was. His only advice to anybody is to give him more money. Now, he hasn't won anything for anybody. Certainly, he's probably lost some elections for some people. He hasn't won anything for anyone. And yet he's telling you that the problem is you haven't given him enough money yet. So if you just gave him some more, you'd be all right. The telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Blackest Radio program in existence. The only one of its kind on planet Earth today. And as always, you are welcome to join us here. Let me get caller from area code 313. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Giving me the money early. In other words, you give me the money every year.
Okay, caller from area code 313 has been abducted or is doing the dishes. And we're doing tonight's program here as a reminder to people here that isn't it amazing? Just when you thought it was safe to have hot girl summer in politics and you thought to yourself, we're going to dance and juke joint our way through and do our Kamala Harris impersonation and everything was going to be fine. Here they show up to rain on your parade and to let you know, oh, by the way, we can pull your card anytime we get ready to. Anytime we get ready, we can pull that card. Anytime. Caller from area code 614, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jason, my name is Brandon. I appreciate you. I'm calling from Columbus, Ohio.
All right, Brandon from Columbus, Ohio. What's on your mind?
Hey, I really appreciate you for holding everyone accountable because it's like the future is what we have to look forward to. And she was not really looking out for our best interest. And you're holding her feet to the fire. I appreciate you. That's all I have to say. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 651. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason Black. This is Bill calling out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Bill out of Minneapolis. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. Tremendous broadcast here tonight. And I just wanted to, say that, when we look at a lot of these, quote unquote political leaders, they're just nothing more than just figureheads. I mean, that's all there is to it. And the more and more you listen to them talk, the more and more the more that they look like they're just like, listen, we know what your interest is. We know you're not deceiving anybody. And when I listen to Roland Martin, speak his nonsense every day, He's only care about about himself more than anything else. When he tried to say, "Hey, if you would have given me more money, we could have had this problem. We figure it out." And it's like, dude, be quiet. Just go sit down somewhere with your old ass. Because at the end of the day, the new generation is pretty much saying we don't believe in the status quo no more. It's all about the intangibles. What are you going to give us for reparations? What are you going to give us a crime bill for black people? That's all there is to it. So I'm going to land my plane on that.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. We appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, for Roland, this is a business. This is a hustle. This is a shakedown. And I've been saying this for years now, and now everyone can see it's just now nakedly obvious that he's doing all of this here. Every year he's just jumping up, everything's a fundraiser. This guy is in constant fundraiser mode. So everything is about trying to raise money for him. This is just supposed to be a profit center. So he goes around trying to do his political entertainment, but in reality, he's just trying to have a fundraiser. He's no closer to getting on CNN today than he would be as getting the next role as Rambo. Caller from area code 504, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Michael, New Orleans.
All right, Mike from New Orleans, what's on your mind?
Jason, Mayor Cantrell is the perfect example of what it's like to be a New Orleans girl. This like down here is just a slut paradise. You know what I'm saying? And she's the perfect example and a representative for the type of females that live in this city. And on top of that, not only did she have a boyfriend, but she has a girlfriend also. And her husband just died a couple of months ago, so she drove the man into the fucking grave. You know? And that's what I wanted to say, Jason. You know, it's a slut paradise, and that's what you get when you come, south on I-10.
Well, she knew where to go. Let me tell you, she came from California and she knew where to go. And that's my whole thing is when you have these people who are just parachuted in from these faraway places, don't you know you're looking at a plant when you see one? Don't you know you're looking at one? The issue in New Orleans is New Orleans can be a powerhouse. New Orleans is one of the most beautiful cities anybody's ever seen. There's a reason why it's always been the number one tourist destination. It's a beautiful place, even in the summertime. Now I'm from Shreveport. So, of course, in the summertime, it is brutal in Shreveport. It is terrible. It's a lot cooler down there in New Orleans, but, of course, they're closer to the ocean. So, in reality, it's a whole lot more tolerable being down there. So, believe it or not, you're further south, but the conditions are a lot different than we have to suffer through up here. And that's been a positive attribute, but it's also a negative thing if the people there don't have an agenda. That's what's missing in New Orleans is a black agenda. Every time black folk get together, we try to make it in the party cities. So next thing you know, New Orleans, Atlanta, DC, Chicago, you starting to party down. And meanwhile, the non-black people around you are gobbling up the resources. And that's the problem when you have a situation like that. We don't need more dancing and juking and twerking. You need to get serious about taking control of that thing, because when these other folks if the FBI is looking, it's like, oh, we're just going to we can just go ahead and clear everything out. And when we get done, it'll be our folk running it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Big Brother Jason. This is Brother Elijah calling out of Washington, D.C.
Brother Elijah, come out in D.C. What's on your mind?
Yeah, brother. About tonight's topic, excellent broadcast as usual. Brother, I got two questions with the two subjects you brought up. With this woman, Fani Willis, like, you never heard nothing with Sir Paul Howard when he was down there and everything like that. And then the minute this woman even entered the race, it was just all eyes, all cameras. And I'm just always trying to figure out this whole thing, like, why do they always have to elect the loudest one in the room? She has to bring the most attention to the office, this and that. And she didn't even get nowhere near this attention when she let those devil cops who killed our brother Rashard Brooks off the hook.
Well, it's because when you take a look at Chicago, how in the hell did somebody like drunk Uncle Lightfoot get in that office? How the hell did that happen?
Yes, sir.
So when you talk about the loudest person in the room, please understand somebody who is overly ostentatious, overly showy, overly awkward. There was nothing about Lori Lightfoot that wasn't completely and totally Bozo the Clown awkward. And yet there she was. Then you got Brandon Johnson. Have y'all seen that Negro's haircut? Brandon Johnson,
Of course, yes, sir.
He's got an alfalfa cut on top of his head. This is a sitting mayor in the year 2024 who looks like his barber shaped him up with his elbows. And yet there he is as the mayor of Chicago. Did anybody look at this? What I'm saying is, how is it that you have this conveyor belt of weirdo Negroes that they keep bringing through there? And what I'm saying is they are selected. They're not elected, they're selected. And what they've been counting on is that we would not early on start saying, you know what, we're questioning this. We ain't going to just go along with this. We don't know these people and they're not in our interest. They don't even look right. These people don't even look dignified. They don't even look intelligent. They don't even look correct. And we have to be a whole lot less bashful about just simply calling after what it is.
Yes, sir. All right, my other question is, this sister out there in New Orleans, I've never been to New Orleans. Well, I haven't been there. I haven't gone there yet. That's going to be one of my future places to visit. But the most I knew about New Orleans was, of course, Hurricane Katrina. And I have this question. I would have thought the brothers and sisters would have gotten it together down there because, you know, we saw how serious the Hurricane Katrina was and how neglected they were, and it just turned even like more F niggas and F hoes down there and everything like that. And do they? My real question is, when you see a sister like Mayor Cantrell, do they need another catastrophe to wake their asses up down there?
Well, I would certainly like it if people did not wait until things reach a catastrophic point. But what I will tell you is that when you have people who are, you have people who are contained in these large pockets of poverty, they get accustomed to being powerless. Brother Neely Fuller has talked about this now for decades, but they get accustomed to being powerless. We're dealing with psychology here. So when you are used to being powerless and then folks like us show up telling you about how much power you got, brother, you got to convince them they have any first. So first they got to get over that psychological block. They're used to these things proceeding the way they are because they're used to being powerless in these regards. And folks who are used to being powerless are used to watching things messed up and keep going. They get used to it. They get accustomed to it. So they get used to tolerating the circumstances rather than actually doing anything about it. The other thing is the way in which they keep black people stymied is you have tons of bureaucracy. So you see, in smaller places, one person can come in and has enough authority to make a lot of big changes. So what they do in these larger places is they institute these huge bureaucracies specifically for the purposes of stymieing changes. Specifically for those purposes, making sure you can't make any big changes quickly or whatever. And then, of course, until they stack the commissioner, stack the council or whatever. And then all of a sudden they start ramming things through and you see how that happens. So when you're dealing with folks who are used to being on the outside, people who are used to being powerless, they don't get to make any real decisions. They get conditioned to just sit still until something that they simply cannot ignore moves them. And of course, they don't get moved by their own volition. That's the next thing. They don't get moved by their own volition either. They get moved out of necessity, not by their own volition.
Yes, sir. Brother, look, thank you so much. Be one to you and the family as usual.
Thank you very much for this call.
Black first. Peace.
Let me get caller from area code 305. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
TBA, what's up, man? This your boy One Love out of Miami, up here in Birmingham.
One Love out of Miami. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, man, I got a little confusion, so I wanted to ask you a two-part question, if I could. I keep a Reader's Digest. It's like at one point, it seems like this is almost the reverse of Jonathan Majors. you know, with the Louisiana mayor, you know, even though it's not a white person she's with, it's like we see what you're doing, but we'll call it something else, but you'll still be taken down.
Oh yeah,
that's the first part. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, look, in order to sell something, in order to get something, you know, to be accepted when it's kind of got a weak premise to it, you have to be able to sell it. And the easiest way to sell something is to give people something salacious, something they can wrap their heads around easily. People can very easily wrap their heads around adultery, a sex scandal, whatever. So you can take something that may be relatively minor, but if people really can understand it very well, it makes it a whole lot easier to sell it as something bigger. So when you do some major punishment, everybody understands, well, this was wrong. So it can really help you to eliminate the proportionality of what's supposed to be done as a result. So understand when you're seeing something that's being sold to you here. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or otherwise, but what I am saying is you're absolutely right in that regard there is that, yeah, this is being kind of sold to you here. Just like Marion Barry. Marion Barry, he was smoking crack. Here comes the FBI. The FBI? Right. Where's the proportion here? When does the FBI show up for somebody smoking drugs? When does that happen? Well, it's the mayor, don't you see? Okay, no, he's smoking drugs. It doesn't matter who it is. What is the level of resources you're giving here? If you are concerned, are you concerned that him smoking drugs has compromised some authority or compromised something he's done? Has he done something illegal? Has he given out a contract he wasn't supposed to? Was it drugs for favors? That's what you're supposed to be here for, is drugs for favors. Well, if that didn't occur, then what are you doing here? So ultimately, you sent the FBI in for a drug bust of somebody drug using. Now here comes the FBI for Mayor Cantrell, and it's kind of iffy what you're actually here for. Okay, she's been messing with a married sneaky link. Got it. Understood. But is that a pretense for something else? Because here's my whole point I was making before. They haven't really been able to do anything about her politically. Yeah, folks want to have a recall. They're trying to have a recall election of her. But the bottom line is, in all honesty, they ain't really been able to do nothing to her politically. You haven't really been able to mess with her. And with that being the case, well, if we can't move you politically, let's see if we can try something else.
Right. And that segues into my final part of my inquiry is, you know, white supremacists, as Neely Fuller put it, takes both sides of the argument. Now, politically, it seems like that's all they've been doing is putting black women in certain positions, political positions of power, you know, to accelerate or create the gender divide. But in the last 2.5 years, that's all they've been taking down. Is those same black women. It's almost like the other supremacists has been saying, hey, you're putting too many black women into power. And the government said, hey, I got this. Watch. What do you say about that, TBA? That was my main question.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, if the process fails here, they know who they're going to get already. They don't put you in position because you're strong and independent. They put you in position because they know they can take you down. You take a look at Keisha Bottom B. She jumped out of office before she could get knocked out of office because there was a reason. Take a look at the three people I named: Governor Cuomo, Keisha Bottoms, Lori Lightfoot. I didn't buy those billboards for nothing. I bought them because I'm like, okay, I see y'all the puppets, but particularly these two, Bottoms and Lightfoot. By the way, Bottoms and Lightfoot with a crew, with a pair of names there. But I said those because you could see they were so obviously politically weak and you're just political puppets. So Keisha Bottoms was already guaranteed a one-termer. And then she just jumped out of office before she got knocked out. Lori Lightfoot tried to stand strong, and they were just like, oh, don't worry, we're going to muscle you out. And that's exactly what occurred to her. You can see this already forming with Eric Adams up there in New York. He didn't get in the office for a good 8 months before the rain started coming down on him. So they choose individuals, but it is necessary to weaken them because at some point they're not in there for the purposes they led you to believe they're in there for. They're in there for the purposes of window dressing till they can get somebody else in there that they want as they're easing along their agenda. But no, in the modern era today, if the political parties are bringing a candidate and throwing them in front of black folk, that candidate is in the tank. They're in the bag. They are a puppet. They are not part of our agenda. Their job is simply to aggregate the black vote, not to promote the black agenda. But it is of a necessity that they must be flawed. They already got dirt on them. So anytime they want to pull their card and yank them, they can. So they got you thinking that they're fearless, or that they got real support so they can be fearless for black folks. Like, well, how do they get up as high as they are? They got it where they are because the folks who put them there already know how they're going to remove them if they need to. If they ever get out of line, if they ever stop towing the line, they've already got the method they're going to use to get rid of them. And if there isn't anything politically heavy enough to go after you with, well, don't worry. We prefer to have somebody with something illegal going on. And we got you covered, right, so long as you back the agenda. And as soon as you don't, take a look at it. Marion Barry, FBI cameras. LaToya Cantrell, FBI cameras. Think about that for just a few moments. The city is under siege. The FBI is not dealing with the crime problem in New Orleans. They're looking at the mayor.
Those political people, that wear our uniform, I look at it as they were born to die. They put them in that position with their demise already set in place.
They're disposable.
Hey, you answered my question. B1, keep it up, TBA.
Thank you very much for giving this call here tonight. Absolutely. These are a conveyor belt of disposable, single-use politicians. They are a group of disposable, single-use politicians. They're like the wrapper on your hamburger at Wendy's. It's not made or intended to be used multiple times. It's made to be used one time. Or like the wrapper on your ice cream cone from Baskin Robbins. It's not made or intended for multiple uses. It is made and intended for single use, and then after that, it is to be thrown away. Let me get a caller from Country Code here, 447. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, it's me, Adrian, calling from London, UK.
All right. What's your name again, brother?
Adrian, calling from London, UK. I think I called last year sometime. I spoke to you.
All right, Adrian from London.
I just wanted to say that it's very interesting the way the politics is turning out in America. And I was wondering if you could do something for the people and put together like a poster campaign like you did last year for no votes, no reparations or something like that, and try and raise like £1 million or £500,000 and put a mass campaign together, because we'll all be behind you. And from that, speaking to you, listening to you last week, and you was talking to the little 12-year-old girl or 9-year-old girl, it's very inspirational. And I think you, people like Tariq and so forth, have the power to galvanize the community to do something really positive. And what do you think about putting together like $1 million poster campaign or a billboard campaign in America? Obviously, I'm supporting it from UK, but what do you think about that?
That's something that could happen there. That certainly could. I'll weigh several different options, because during an election year, there's several different things to look at. I can tell you right now, one of the biggest things that they're concerned about it's good to have billboards and things, and I continue to do that, and I will continue to do that. But more importantly is the 12 to 14 months leading up to the actual elections here. The real thing is about, have you been doing that work for the 12 to 14 months leading up to that? Because election day is just the day that they got knocked out. Election day is just the day that the receipts and the returns came in. But election day is the result of everything you did for the previous 12 to 14 months. So it is very, very important to have these conversations, to have a consistent one. You meet up every week. You're constantly evaluating. You're taking the temperature. We're looking over the polls. You're taking a look at the results. You have elections here or there, like the governor of Louisiana and Virginia, the mayor of Houston, and you start chalking those things up and seeing what's happening, because those were things that happened. No billboards required. That's the result of what you've done for the previous 12 to 14 months. But definitely is something that we always are considering. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Let me get a call from Area Code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is G from New Orleans. How you doing?
G from New Orleans, what's on your mind, brother?
All right, brother. First off, congratulations on 150,000 subscribers. You know, I know it's hard fighting YouTube's shadow ban, but you did it. You know, you have a base and a following. Great broadcast. I would just like to, I think this program should be called Black Girl Magic Becomes Black Girl Tragic, because a lot of these city girls who get elected, not like Mayor Cantrell, Fani Willis, and even the mayor out in Illinois, that black woman who's the city girl, they come into these major cities, they're given power, and then they do absolutely nothing with it. And I'm here in New Orleans, and just being here, and yes, New Orleans has been screwed up before Mayor Cantrell has been here. I'll give it that. But it's just been, she's not just not been a great mayor at that. And when I look at what's going on across this country, I'm starting to suspect, and I wonder if you think the same thing, that these people are plants. Because I look at Fani Willis, you know, her main thing, the first thing she did, of course, when the brother got killed by the police, she dropped the charges against those officers that killed Rashad Brooks. On top of that, she now is going after Donald Trump as a prosecutor. And now we're finding out, allegedly, she was having an affair with the special prosecutor in the case. So I'm just questioning, because something like that, they had to have known from the beginning that she had to have some type of relationship, and could have just been just something where they just wanted to throw her out like that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, absolutely. No, look, brother, when you're talking about Atlanta, I want folks to understand that the legal community, I mean, it's like the political community or the sports community. Athletes know who's juicing. Athletes know who's juicing. Athletes know who's using. They know who got the dirt on them. They know that. In academic circles, they know the folks who really are on top of their game versus the people who are plagiarists. When it comes to politics, when it comes to the legal community, they know the black females who get around. You got black lawyers on YouTube who will tell you, everybody knows the black females in the legal community in Atlanta who get tossed around, who get passed around. They're the easy layup. The legal community knows who the thoughts are, man. They know who they are. They know when they take them pictures, all these black females being judges, they know all the thought judges. They know the thought judges, the thought DAs, the thought attorneys. Everybody in the legal community knows who they hoes and their pimps are. They know who they are. So it's the folks outside the legal community who don't know or aren't as aware. But the folks in the legal community, man, they all know who they are. So when if they see somebody like a Fani Willis come up with it, they're like, well, you know what's coming next. So the legal community knows. It's everybody on the outside who doesn't. By the way, the legal community and the media. The media in these markets, they know which lawyers, are out here living shady and they're prone to be doing stuff like this. They know the lawyers who are on drugs. They know the lawyers who get drunk. There are so many stories that don't actually make the news. That's the killing thing that most folk don't know. There are so many stories in every single media market in America of incidents with politicians that don't actually even make the news. So it's either because it wasn't significant enough, which is what they would tell you, or more likely they're holding that in their back pocket for future reference. It's like, okay, now we found where you have a weakness at. We'll just look to see if this exacerbates itself any further. So that's what you're looking at, brother. The legal community has always known which lawyers are good or which lawyers are shady or which lawyers are untrustworthy, which lawyers are sneaky, which lawyers are shady. They know.
Right. And now we have the 2024 election come up, and this case could actually be dismissed, because if she was messing with this man, which likely she was, well, they're going to say prosecutorial misconduct. And, all of this is, and you talked about this, especially when you want to be a shield for the Democrats, it always backfires against you. Remember, she's even using the RICO statute out in Georgia to go after these rappers. And, we had Tariq Nasheed talked about this. When you have a chance for power to make a power play, some of us get scared and back off. When Paul Howard was running for DA, there's no way he should have lost, especially when he charged those cops. So I don't know what was going on in Atlanta. Atlanta was the black Mecca, Jason. That's what they called it. That's what Maynard Jackson built up.
Well, remember something. There is a difference between having a political candidate versus having a political machine. There's a difference between those things. So Paul Howard was up against a machine that just out of nowhere pops up and did a Kevin Hart and said, okay, introducing Fani Willis. And that's the kind of thing you run into there. That's why we have to, and it can be hard, it can be hard because you're dealing with literally hundreds of cities around this country, hundreds of cities, and having a political influence and sizable political influence in all of them is difficult. It's a formidable task. The Democrats are on this 24/7. The Republicans are on this 24/7. We get in where we fit in. So I just want folks to be aware of that. The purpose of the black media isn't to control politics. The purpose of the black media is to create and help facilitate a national conversation so that the people locally can pick up on that and then take it from there. But it's not our job. Furthermore, it's not in our ability to, quote unquote, control these things for you. I can't control Atlanta's politics from Shreveport, Louisiana. Furthermore, you don't even want that. Mm-hmm. Imagine how bad that would be. I can't control New Orleans politics from Shreveport. But then again, should that be something you would even want to have happen? Somebody from 6 hours away has more influence over what's happening in your city than you do. So if they want to have a conversation about it, take advantage of that as an opportunity to say, okay, if there's a group of folk, if the guy in Shreveport was able to get a group of folks in New Orleans together to listen about this or whatever, that's good. Now, and then you take it from there. Just see that as what it is, an opportunity. He's a conversation starter, and it's an opportunity to take the conversation from there. So that way you don't have to break the ice on it. But it's going to be up to folks where they are, because if you're not having these conversations between you and your people, trust me, the political machines and the political operatives are. And then you just wake up one morning and some prosecutor you never heard of named Keisha Bottoms, next thing you know, is being held up to be your next candidate as mayor. Or some chick you never heard of, Fani Willis, is being parachuted in from nowhere right before Election Day. And you're like, who in the hell is this person? They've known who she was the whole time.
Yeah. And just in closing, I'll land my plane on this. I think every black people like Roland Martin, we know they're going to come out and try and shame black men, black people, to go and vote. You damn fools, y'all better go ahead and cast that vote. But here's the point. If you're not offering any tangibles, if you're not going to look out for your people, nobody's going to support you. And Fani Willis is learning that lesson now, and others are going to be learning it. Because if you don't do anything for us, nobody's going to support. Marion Barry, when he was mayor of D.C., he had the support. Why he got reelected, even after he was dealing with his legal stuff, he actually gave tangibles. I've said that before. So, when you're not doing that, if you're not going to do anything for the people, and you were right, Jason, since when does the FBI go after and why they had the camera set up there? It was clear they were trying to set the man up. And I even know personally they actually tried to get the girl multiple times to get him to smoke the crack. If you recall, he said no, he didn't want to do it. And they kept trying. So they were clearly trying to set the man up. At some point, that's called entrapment. But I'll land my plane there, and I'll keep listening. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 313. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Brother Shabazz from Detroit, Michigan, and greetings to you, my brother. I appreciate the awesome work that you do. Just listening
you need
to
turn
your
off your speakers,
dialogue.
sir. You have some noise going on behind you.
I'm sorry,
Turn
brother.
your speakers off.
Gotcha. My apologies. Just wanted to give you your kudos, first of all, for the great work that you do in the community and the minds that you're liberating, because the first act of revolution starts in the mind. But listening to your callers asking very pointed questions, and, just to piggyback off that, whether it's the CIA-controlled Hollyweird entertainers, Jason Black, Oprah Winfrey, or it's the, folks in the media, the Roland Polies, the Angela Rise, whether it's the ministers, the Al Sharptons, that guy in South Carolina at that church, or the political establishment. And it's both parties. Your analysis is spot on. It's always the same playbook. These white ruling class Nazis in America are never really that hard to figure out. But, one of the things that I was very taken aback was that church incident in South Carolina with Catfish Clyburn and Biden sitting up in that church and, having a re-election party where those 9 souls were martyred at from the white supremacists there. And then the people in there saying, oh, he be a good man, the black woman in there and that whole thing. And also the folks capping for Palestinians, which I get it, but nobody said anything about those souls.
Caping, actually, is what that would be. So, I'm curious here. You were naming off a list of names, and you put my name next to between Hollyweird and Oprah, and I'm just curious why that was occurring.
No, not you. No. I was talking about in terms of the people who are part of the white ruling class agenda, brother. You are a frontline soldier, so please, my apologies if I gave that misinformation. I put you in the same league with Malcolm and our real social justice, Dr. Khalid Muhammad. So please, my apologies for that. I was just speaking to what you were addressing to earlier callers who had spoken about, Hollywood celebrities, folks in the media like the Angela Rise and the roly-polies and that sort of thing. And I was just saying in the totality of it all is that you have the same playbook. The white ruling class Nazis in America are controlling all of these people, the ministers, and there's a common thread between all of it, the politicians that they place in front of us. So I wanted to piggyback on your teaching, because I think you're teaching more so than having a conversation and just talking about things, and that our people to understand that it's all the same playbook. Malcolm told us 60 years ago to register and vote independent for tangibles during his famous speech he gave in Detroit, the Ballad of the Bullet. What use is it to vote for a Republican or a Democrat? They're two wings of the same bird. So I just wanted to piggyback on that, brother. I just love absolutely everything that you do, and I consider you a blessing to us from the ancestors. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Well, folks, if you thought these people were your friends, if you thought that, let me tell you, the very people who are sitting there up there getting booed up with them, telling themselves that eventually they're going to be dancing the Dougie up to the governor's mansion or whatever. I want you all to understand there's a never-ending phalanx, a never-ending conveyor belt of individuals who think that fat meat ain't greasy and that they are going to get their opportunity, that they are slick enough to get their opportunity to defy the odds. They really do believe that. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal or Venmo here. So B1 Media is a lifesaver. Najee, Delcino, Walter, Antoinette, thank you all very much for your support tonight. I appreciate that. Let me get caller from area code 229. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 229 abducted. But that's quite all right here as well. Look here, folks. Like I say, all I can do is give you the warning about it. I can give you the warning about it. You can believe it or you cannot here. And I've been warning folks for the longest time. We've been telling you here. As Professor Black Truth told you that when white supremacy is done with its tools, it breaks its tools. No, you will not be rising to any higher levels. No, the very folk here who brought you here and put you in position, they understood what your flaws and your defects were. And they've just been waiting. Because the truth of the matter is that Fani Willis is not essential. She is just one latest used tool. They can remove you and keep their whole agenda going without missing a beat. And now you're learning that the hard way. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for joining us on tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromised.